another light. Okay, Reverend Jackson. Now, I think that woman is a good woman. Believe me, I think she is sincere.
Okay.
She feels she's doing the right thing, following her conscience, and she says, look, guys come into my church, and the kid's got asthma, and he's going to be deported, and I'm going to help him despite what American law says. How do you answer that?
Well, I think it's wrong that she doesn't do due process. Sounds like this situation has been going on for a long time, Bill, and there's ample opportunity for her to engage legal assistance and support in this case. And I believe that right now it's a very critical time with the Duca brothers and other situations for us to let people know you've got to obey the laws of the land first and foremost.
Okay, now, she made a very interesting comment, which is why I wanted you on the program tonight. She said, in the 50s, in the civil rights demonstrations, when obviously the laws in the South were immoral, they were wrong, but they were on the books. They were U.S. law, okay? That people went down, they disobeyed the law, they went through the process of telling some southern states simply not going to obey what you tell us to do. And she says that's the same thing that we're doing now with immigration law. And you say?
I say that's not the same thing. I think that what we're dealing with is we're having a group of people who have come into the United States as criminals versus American citizens back in those days who just weren't getting a fair shake under the law. And we find that King really pushed people and the other civil rights leaders to stand up for their rights, and he was upholding the Constitution of the United States and the Bible. So he wasn't just saying the Bible trumps everything. And at the root of it, I believe that the Bible is the thing that Christians should follow, but we should also honor the Constitution of this great land.
Okay, now you said that they come in as criminals, but it's a civil beef. It's not a felony or a misdemeanor to cross into the United States illegally, and this is where you get into all of that gray area. But now we go back to Jesus, and we go back to Christianity and Judeo tradition. If your brother, who is anybody in the world, no matter what nationality, needs a helping hand, aren't you required as a Christian to give that person a helping hand?
Not necessarily. Romans chapter 13 is very clear that the people who have been set over us as civil authorities have the authority of life and death even, domestically to protect us or externally even in war. And so reaching out to your brother is very good, feeding them, clothing them, etc., but not necessarily to defy the written laws of the land. I think that there are many traditional churches in America that would say that's really not the teaching of Jesus that she's presenting.
Well, it's certainly a debate within the Christian and Jewish community, and certainly in Muslim community as well, I would imagine. What do you do here? What would Jesus do here? Would Jesus stand at the border and say, put up a wall and let's bring in some National Guard? I can't imagine Jesus doing that. I think he would stay out of it. I think Jesus would do, look, the line, and I said this to the Reverend, this is one of the best lines, perhaps the best line in history. When the Pharisees were trying to trap Jesus into saying something seditious so they could charge him, he just looked and said, render to Caesar the things that are Caesar. Doesn't have anything, he was talking about money there, taxes, but it encompasses everything. There's no comeback to that. I'll give you the last word.
Well, I think, Bill, that we need to make sure that our Christian charity is not misguided. We need to close the borders, in my view. We need to protect America. And then we need to help people like this get legal counsel and go through the system as everyone else has to do.